I've a great idea for a movie. Now work with me on this one, right? It's a kind of a total fictional, makey-uppy, hypothetical world we live in, right? And it starts off, maybe in the 1920s, in a room, right? You see the cigar smoke coming out, a couple of whiskeys, and a couple of cufflinks, suits, well-dressed men. You don't see their faces, don't know who they are, but you just know that these guys are fucking seriously wealthy, right? And all you hear is the conversation about how they're going to take over the world, right? How they're going to become the global elites and call all the shots for all us mere plebs to follow. And you hear, just the idea. Then as the movie goes along, we move through time. And they start coming up with, okay, this isn't working, we need to do this and we need to do that, and we need to take control of all the money and all the banking system, and we're going to formulate like the World Bank and all these kind of things. And it's going on and on and on, and then you start seeing them develop, because they turn around and say something like, okay, we have a problem with Europe. We're not getting enough of our people planted to lead all the individual countries to do what we want them to do. We need to come up with a way, let's just bypass all that shit and come up with an organization above all the countries of Europe. Then say they fall in under our umbrella, we won't be elected, we'll just fucking self-declare ourselves as the leaders of this organization, and then we'll set the laws, the rules for all the member countries. Again, totally hypothetical, totally fucking fictional, makey-uppy shit here, right? Because they're saying, look, Ireland, France and Germany, they're not playing ball, so we need them to, we need to make them play ball. So I'm going to come up with this idea, as in like a kind of the group leader of Europe, right? And then we tell them what to do. Okay, makes sense. And as the movie goes through time, we see how they put their people in the head of all the institutions that matter in each country. So the head of the media, the head of politics, the head of the financial, judicial system, all that kind of stuff. They place all their people into that as time goes on, right? And they're getting closer and closer. And then the head of the organization that's now put all the European countries under their umbrella has now started passing all their legislation, bringing in, again, hypothetically, stuff like digital ID and all this kind of stuff. And so now we all have to follow these global elite guys, the guys who started off in the movie in the 1920s. We're now up around the 1980s, 1990s, and it's their kids or their grandkids who've continued to bring this. Because did you know that the only way to create an empire is when you turn around and have your business and you say to your son or daughter, what would you like to be when you grow up? Oh, Daddy, I'd love to be an astronaut. That's fucking great. Now come to work with me. So they all have to work within the family organization. That's how you create the empire. Anyway, so the movie is going along with all this kind of stuff, and they're winning. They're succeeding. They're taking over the whole fucking world. They're pushing all their ideas through, and we are, shall we say, let's just say in 1865, when apparently they abolished slavery. They didn't. They just made us all slaves, and none of us realised it, because now we're all the same. So nobody went, oh, look at that poor bastard over there having to do whatever he's told to do. Now we're all doing what we're told to do, but we don't realise it, because we're all doing it. Anyway, so as the movie goes on, we're seeing how this master plan of the global elitist in this fictional, hypothetical world is actually playing out. Now here's the fucking plot twist. This is what makes the movie really kind of exciting. As they're planning all this shit, in another room in the early 2000s, 2010, 15, there's another gang of people who've met, right? And these guys have come from all different countries all over the world, right? And there's only about maybe 10 or 12 members, and they say, we need to fucking stop these motherfuckers, right? And these are hardcore guys, right? And you recognize a couple of faces. So let's just say the Irish are represented by Fran and Nidge, right? From fucking Love Hate. These two guys, right? They're the Irish lads, and they've got the fucking tricolour wrapped around their shoulders. England has, I don't know, Jason Statham or something like that, right? He's their guy, right? Jackie Chan is there representing wherever Jackie Chan is from. I don't know, where's he from? China? Wherever he's from. Oh, that's so racist, you just assumed. Well, wherever the fuck he's from, but you get my point, right? So these guys are in the room, And they're smoking hardcore Marlboro, drinking fucking cans of beer, right? Totally different to the global elites. And they're formulating their plan. And they're saying, look, these motherfuckers are, they're pushing their agendas, they're pushing all their shit. None of them are elected. They run the financial system in the world. They run fucking everything. They're calling all the fucking shots. They need to be taken out. Hypothetically, fictional movie, okay? Just could you imagine? So they come up with a plan, and the plan is very simple. On one God-given date and time, we fucking wipe them all out. Right? As in, we need to do a coordinated, bit like Demolition Man. Remember that movie? Fucking brilliant movie. Watch it and you'll see how they predicted the future all those years ago. Sylvester Stallone and who's your guy? Wesley Snipes. Fucking brilliant movie. Again, hypothetical, fictional world that was too. Anyway, right? So they come up with this plan as to how they wipe them all out, but they realize there's not enough of them. But it's still a great plan. So they say, well, let's learn from what the global elites did, and we'll just keep organizing until we're ready to fucking execute our plan. So they find people in every country that's on board with this great idea. They pick the date, they pick the time, and then they fucking wipe them all out. All the globalist elites, all these leaders of organizations that nobody ever voted for, the World Banks, all these kind of stuff. They eliminate all these motherfuckers because they turn around and say, who actually do we owe all this money to? Because well, technically it doesn't exist. So let's just wipe the whole thing out, right? And now you've got, I don't know, Sylvester Stallone and I don't know, fucking Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is still around. He's like, they're running the American branch, and they've got now 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people organized in their own kind of militia army. That's on the day that they need to fucking press the button and go, they're all in place. And all of a sudden, everybody gets the text message, execute, right? And next minute, you just see them all being wiped out. Gone. And in 1 hour, they've eliminated, I don't know, like the fictional characters like, Gil Bates and what do you call the other fella? House Mob, your man, all these kind of guys. They're all fucking wiped out, taken out, done. And then the end of the movie is all the boys are back meeting in the room with their fucking Marlboros and their cans of beer. And they go, the fuck do we do now? And the last line of the movie, and then it just goes, fades into darkness, is, I guess we're the world elites now, motherfuckers. Huh? Would you watch that movie? Would you watch that? Could you fucking imagine in a hypothetical fictional world where global elites had infiltrated everything for decades, even almost a century, to organize and orchestrate them ruling the entire world? And the fucking, say, they always great, I love this saying, sometimes you need bad guys to take the real bad guys out. And all of a sudden, these badass motherfuckers, they just organize how to take them all out old school. What do you fucking think about that? What do you think about that? I'd love a cameo in that. I'd love a fucking cameo in that kind of movie. Would you watch it? Would you watch that? A bunch of motherfuckers get together and wipe out the global elite and free all the people who, without realizing it, were actually enslaved and actually went along with it without even realizing. They were part of the problem of being enslaved in the first place because they just went along with what their overlords told them. These guys were so organized. Decades, almost a century of organizing, infiltrating, controlling, and wiped out by a bunch of badass motherfuckers. Bit like Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. Have you ever seen that movie? Just fucking hardcore Marlboro cigarette smokers and whiskey and beer. Would you watch it? Let me know. Give me a couple of plot twists. Give me a couple of other ideas to make in this movie. I'll get on to Steven, my pal Steven Spielberg, and we'll turn around and say, here's a great idea, Steve-O. Let me know. Would you watch the movie? Or am I batshit crazy? Or is that good? I think it's a pretty good movie. Work in progress, shall we say. A work in progress. Have a great day.